Hey everyone, welcome to Sabi Simplified Recipes. Today, guys, I'm showing you how I make my samosas at home, and I'm starting with making my dough, which will help me get the samosa wraps. So, I'm using all purpose flour and water, just simple water, clean cold water, and also a pinch of salt and vegetable oil. So, I'm kneading my dough to be very soft. And now after kneading it, I'm adding like a tablespoon of oil. As you can see, I'm adding a tablespoon of oil, and then I'm kneading it to be a bit more soft, because when we're making samosas, when we're making the samosa wraps, we need the samosa wraps to be very thin. We need them to be very thin. So when we have the soft dough, when you are pinning out, it will be easy for us to get the thin wraps. But when the dough is hard, it will be very difficult for you to get thin wraps. So I'd personally advise you to go for the soft dough. So after making the soft dough, after making our dough, after kneading the dough to be soft enough, I'm now cleaning my working area, dusting it with some all-purpose flour, and I'm cutting two equal pieces, like not really equal because I wasn't measuring with anything, but at least equal enough to pin out each and place it on the other. So I'm now pinning the first piece. I'm pinning out my first uh, piece of dough, as you can see, just anyhowly, and then I'm taking the other one and doing the same. Okay, now after doing this, now it's time for us to apply some vegetable oil on one of the piece, like I'm doing, not like too much, but a bit, not to like overflow. And I'm taking the other piece, the first piece that I had done, and I'm placing them on each other, like the edges should be on each other, not to overwrap on the other one. You see, like that. And now we are pinning it out. Let's now pin out to a circle shape. If you really struggle like I do with shapes, I used my knife to at least help the dough to be a bit circle. You see, I really struggled with I don't know why. I just struggle with shapes too much, but we always find a way. Yeah, we'll always find a way out. So I'm cutting at least into a round. Please don't laugh. I'm very sure someone is laughing somewhere, but at the end of the day, we got what you wanted, right? So I'm cutting it. I'm cutting the excess parts, and I'll be using my rolling pin to make sure that it's a bit circle, a bit, because I know it's not circled enough. And now I'll be cutting it into 4 equal parts. This peanut or only like this dough will give me like 8 pieces of samosa wraps. Like this will give 8 samosas. You see how thin they are, and these are 2 pieces already, and they're so soft. So when you're picking from the working area, you be careful. Now I'm placing them on I'm placing them on a pan that was already heating, but it's not that like that hot. Yeah, just heat them up each side, so that when they are dry, or when they are like half cooked or what, I don't know, it's half cooked, yeah, it'll be easy for you to separate the two. You remember when we were starting to pin out, we placed two dough on each side, yeah. So we want to now, after we pinned out, we now want to separate the two pieces. It's that easy. Making samosa wraps are very easy. It's only that people don't know, or someone, they might complicate it because you've never seen someone do. There's also another way actually of making samosa wraps. I'll come with that method. Not like, but really soon I'll show you. Now it's time for us to separate the the wraps now, because they're already wraps. They're no longer dough now. They're now wraps. Just pick one side and just separate from the other. It's that easy, but be careful so that you don't tear. Just like that. Now it's time for us to make our samosa fillings. I'll be using minced meat. I'm making samosa za nyama and I'm using minced meat. I'm gonna just cook them like I'm doing, without adding water, because the meat itself has some like water. So until the water is all dried up, that's when I'll add in my onions. But at the moment I'm just cooking with you see, when you wekelea nyama, and then there's the water, some water. Is it all? It has a name. I'm not sure, but it has a name. I'm not sure about the name. I don't remember it quite well, but until that water dries up, that's when I'm gonna add my onions. I'm using red onions. I don't know why they call it red and it's purple. You can choose to call it purple, like you see it, like I see it, it's purple. I mean, where is it red? So I've added my onions. Mix everything, let everything incorporate each other. And then I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. Don't do too much, because you remember the wraps had already, we did our dough with we added salt when we were making our dough. So our wraps are they already have some salt. So when you do too much here, your samosas will be very salty. So I'm now adding black pepper. At this point you can also add the green peppers if you want, or the red peppers, the green peppers. Yeah, you can just choose to add them at this point. Or if you're making kachumbari at the side, I mean, you don't need to add the red peppers here with the green peppers. So I've switched off my stove at that point when I was adding the black pepper, because now my meat is like well cooked. Even if it's not like really cooked, we will be deep frying our samosas. So at that point it will cook enough. And now I'm adding our leeks. Let me tell you a secret with samosas. Don't skip this part. Always have your leeks with you. Don't skip this part. Have your leeks with you. Even when you're making some stews, if you have them, just add the leeks. The leeks make the difference. Now it's time for us to make the paste. And this paste, we're only using cold water and flour, just that, nothing else. Just cold water and flour to make our glue that will bind our wraps together to make the pockets. So this glue used to make it at school. You remember when you were making posters for something? Yeah, that is the glue now. That's the binder. That's what will be binding our pockets. Now we take our pocket and wrap one side like I've done, and place the other side on the first fold. Make sure when you're making the fold, make sure the edge is very sharp, that it won't, like, the oil, when you're deep frying, the oil will not penetrate into the oil will not get into the meat, or into the inside the pocket. I mean, we need everything to be inside the pocket, and we need not to leave any, like, loophole for the oil to get in the meat. Now our pocket is like well done, and I'm adding my filling, and I'm enclosing everything inside the pocket. I mean, everything should be inside, don't leave anything falling out. Then apply some binder, some glue, some nail paste, uh, like I'm doing, and then now close it. It's like an envelope. You're now closing. You're making sure that everything is inside. Like, don't let anywhere. Don't let anywhere open. Again, we're taking the second wrap. Make your first fold, and then the second fold. Make sure when you're doing the second fold, make sure you get the edge, the sharp edge. Make sure first you get to see where your edge will lie, where your fold will lie, and then close it well. And there, this is how you get a samosa wrap. Put your fillings, vegetable or the meat, and then close everything, and close everything inside. I insist, make sure everything is inside the pocket, the samosa wrap. Make sure everything is inside the pocket that you've made using that samosa wrap, because if you don't do it, and your samosa, if you don't, again, let me tell you something, if you overdo your glue, it will not stick. When you're going to deep fry your samosa, it will like loosen up, and all your fillings will be in the oil, my friend. That will be a very bad thing. You don't want to experience that, because I've done it before. Yeah, so make sure everything is well enclosed in the wrap. After that, you dust with some all-purpose flour, just to get the crunchy filling. And now it's time for us to deep fry. Just let your samosas, don't keep turning like 1,000 times, just let them fry. Just let them stick to let everything stick to each other. And then when one side is well done, now it's time for us to turn the other side. And that's how easy, guys, you make samosas. It's that easy.